Sup, nerds, and welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. I was just looking at this pufflet prints we have growing up here, and it made me wonder about some of these other morphs. And I saw that the new morphs for pufflets are going to be very good at getting things like bleach stone and oxalate in the future. They convert them very efficiently without needing other materials. So that's something that I'm going to need to think about and be able to manage soon. Not right now. That's future sim problems. Current sim problems, now that we have food solved, we're sitting at 80,000 calories. That's quite a bit of food. We are running low on water, though, and water powers oxygen, and oxygen is not otherwise included. So we need to be sure that we are getting this going. We'll turn time on and let things run. What we need to do next is start expanding out into these different areas and just searching. We know there's a cool slush vent somewhere on this map, which is probably this one if I had to guess. So let's go ahead and just start exploring and find that thing. Which means we'll need to put a ladder. Let's put it right here, since I was already doing some work around this part. Dig out here, clear out all the slime. Yeah, just see about getting this handled. The other thing, now that we're heading out here, is that I want to start gathering some speed. I want to start getting some thimbleweed gathered, getting the tufts, and just being able to make our first exosuit so that we can start exploring areas like this without issue. And once that's done, we'll seal off the base, kind of keep it temperature controlled, and go from there. I don't know how, but somehow this whole area just got crushed in air pressure. I guess just off gassing from the polluted water was so high, but we're looking at 17 kilograms. I noticed it because one of our dupes got popped eardrums heading into there. That's wild. That is so much oxygen being put in there. Um, I might need to take out this airlock and let things flow and just maybe set up another deodorizer or two to make sure nothing gets out. But I think we're going to work out on coring out this slime biome as much as possible. This obviously needs to stay untouched, but just kind of keep the slime managed that way and let all this dirty water fall down into our water pit down here. I think that is probably the next step. Why did this take damage? What's going on here? That's all hydrogen. I don't know. Maybe just some small flubs as we were getting it running in the first place. Yeah, let's build another deodorizer or two and hook them up. They only take 5 electricity. I'm not too concerned. Another thing we want to look at in time is starting to take this wire and update it all to conduit, to conductive wire, to being able to get the next level. Research there just finished. We're going to just knock out the last bits of research along here. And then we really need to start figuring out how to get probably materials analysis, because getting up into space is the next thing. And materials analysis requires, I've got it unlocked here somewhere. Materials science research comes off of this terminal, which consumes rad bolts, so we need to start getting our uranium situation figured out. In fact, I'll unlock that. We do have a patch of uranium up here, over here, that we could set up into kind of a nuclear study sector. So we'll look into that. For now, I really do want to clear this out first. But I want those deodorizers up before we do, because I want to make sure that any air we let out, because it's going to come out fast as soon as we destroy this airlock, any air that we let out is going to get cleaned before it goes into the rest of the base. All right, that's good enough. We'll deconstruct the airlock and hope for the best. For now, it seems to be working okay. Pressure's evening out, and these lower two aren't really activating, which tells me the setup's fine. I would like to clean all the air in the base. It will eventually clean just by being breathed, but you know. Yeah, and we need to set up the oxygen flow to be more even throughout the base now that I look at that again. That's right, we had not actually done that. So let me go ahead and lay out these gas pipes as they should be. So I went ahead and made three branches. This first branch is just going to end right here and kind of fill this bottom area of the base. The top one up here is going to go through the main base and empty out up here. And the middle one's going to go ahead and start filling out this bottom area of the map and just keeping all that in check. Hopefully, this will start like condensing all the carbon dioxide and stuff, and we're going to make a little carbon dioxide sink down here. So that's another big project our dupes are all going to start working on now, and that should be any moment now that we start seeing that kick into effect. But yeah, should solve oxygen spread issues. We have some areas on the base that aren't really getting full air, and that will help keep that more even. Though, I mean, they're about to get a whole bunch of air coming out of this as it filters through the deodorizer. That's why this area is so good. Got our first new printables of this section, or this session. I don't really see a lot here. I mean, 13 science would be great for learning things, and we'll probably get our duplicate gym up and running here soon. So maybe. But can't do digging errands. I think honestly at this point getting another suit is a good idea. Just don't want to overgrow before we're ready. And I realize we should assign out some of these suits, so I'm just going to go alphabetically down the line. Abe gets the citrus spandex, and this purple polyester goes to Ari, and we'll just assign them out as they come in. All right, and this was a polluted water vent. It wasn't the cool slush geyser, which I would have preferred, but a polluted water vent is pretty good still. It brings out 10.1 kilograms per second of polluted water at 30 C, which isn't too hot, and it will let us keep our water supply up and going. So I'm going to go ahead and just dig that out fully because I want that emerged into the world, active and doing good things like making our water for us. The meantime, it's been about 2 cycles, and our oxygen supply is already starting to look better. A lot of it isn't making it up to the top yet, but as pressure builds up in these areas, more and more of it will go up top until it's evenly spread throughout the base. And yeah, we're just seeing life getting better for our dupes. Need to clear out some of these other areas and just sort of equalize things to make it work with the water. I love the updates they made to how water moves. They changed some of the underwater effects and such, and it's really going to shine as we go forward. But we're getting more oxygen down here, which means production down here is going to be easier. And I want to start cracking into some of these areas and looking into them like this. There's going to be some data analysis options here, and this is how we do the critter morphs so that we're able to get like those special puffs and things like that. And now we're getting little bits of data analysis that we can get out. So, progress being made everywhere. This water in the cool steam vent is still very warm. It's sitting at about 70 C. I don't want to tap into that until absolutely necessary. Our base is already starting to suffer some effects of heat, and it's only going to get worse as we go forward. So I'm just going to be a little careful with how we're handling that and see what we can do. Yeah, we have our polluted water vent. We'll go ahead and analyze it, figure out exactly how much water this is going to produce for us. Just so we can get the average output and make sure that we're getting enough for our needs. But that will be great because that should be able to supply our spawn here forever. Crap, and somebody has slime lung. The good news about slime lung is that we don't have a ton of places where germs will go. You can see it is starting to sneak out a little into the base that comes from the slime. It's one of the reasons I've been worried about cracking open slime. We're just kind of at the point where we have to manage it for a little bit. Uh, Slime lung makes them consume a lot more oxygen overall. It makes things bad, and it spreads in areas with polluted oxygen. So we're just gonna have to make sure we keep our whole base clean going forward. In fact, I'm gonna build another deodorizer right here just to be sure that anything coming out of this little waste section we made here is cleaned up. I do want this one with researching and rocketry and some increased strength. This is going to be a great supplier until it's time to get people out into the rockets. It'll be great for wearing suits. Welcome to the team, Camille. And we're going to give you some just nice carrying capacity for now. Actually, yeah, carrying capacity. Suitability training is something we're going to want to basically start to give to everyone soon. And I honestly need to make my exosuit forge. Where is that hiding? And also, I actually have it, right? All right, we have our analysis. This is going to give, on average, 3,000, so 3 kilograms a second of water. This, on average, like if it were running at full capacity, burns, let's see, 1,000 grams per second of water each, so 4,000. So that slush geyser alone is not quite enough to run this at full capacity all the time. We'll need to get more, but it's close. It's close. With the cool slush geyser that's somewhere out here, we will be just fine in our oxygen supplies for up to about 20 dupes. Which, hey, that's kind of the plan. I want to get the exosuit forge running. It's being plugged in right now, and we want to start making a few suits. I want these just to be set up here, and we'll have one of our probably this one right here feed oxygen into them because we can see it's starting to back up a little, and we'll go ahead and make this like a checkpoint where you need to be wearing a suit to go through up into this area up here. So hopefully we can get that set up here pretty quickly. Once we do, we're going to then make sure that, well, everybody is getting enough air, that they're in the suits when they're exploring this, and we're going to clear this whole area out and get rid of every trace of slime we can find. I am not letting this base go into a slime catastrophe. Starting to get a little alerts up here as this is flashing, and I think it's just the warning that we're about to hit cycle 100 if we were going for those achievements. Which, hey, we already got them, thankfully. But yeah, interesting that it's flashing like that. Freya here is starving. That's her fault. She should be grabbing food right about now, and yeah, shouldn't be an issue anymore. How many calories did you get in you? 800? Yeah, whatever. You'll grab the rest right now. Slime Lung still going around. F9 is a button, but it's not spraying out into the rest of the base really. It dies in clean oxygen, so it's mostly a non-issue. Reach cycle 100 with at least one living duplicate. We have 10. We're doing pretty well this run. I'm pretty happy with how this is going so far. Discovered a slight issue with my plan, which is that I didn't actually have any reed fiber available for people to grab, so we're just making a quick pathway down to a few spots where I see some laying around that we can grab. We'll plant thimbleweed seeds after and get all that up and running soon. But who is starving? If it's got to be Freya. Anyway, but yeah, we're just getting into all these spots where we have some thimbleweed seed laying around, and from there, or not thimbleweed seed, but the reed fiber, and we'll get a good chunk of that and put that together. I also want to set up a Dreco farm here pretty quickly and get that working. Seeing long commutes being enough of an issue too, that I'm going to at least install one pipe here that's going to be under base. It's a fire pole. You just build it and they slide down till they get to where they need to go. Verticality is a good thing to include in this game, but yeah, it's just a basic little fire pole that will get built out. Probably another one right here too alongside this. Save people some time. Looks like our first suit just got built. Thank you, Devin. So we have our very first Atmos suit, which means I should build up the Atmos suit dock up here. I think we just got a printable available. Yes, we did. Let's see what we're getting. I don't know what this is, but I love it. I love it so much. It's like a seal unicorn? I don't know anything about it, and I don't know if we can keep it safe. So Yeah, will mature into an adult spigot seal. I can't take it yet, but I definitely want to get some of those going. For now, we'll just take the oxalite fern. I'm going to only slowly up the number of dupes we have, just make sure that our food supplies stay manageable and all that, because that is actually a lower number than I like to see. If we're looking at just barbecue, especially, I mean, we can open up some of the other food sources now. What am I doing? We don't need carnivore anymore. That's going to be roast grapefruit nut. Should be good. Was it already? It was already. Okay. So they'll eat. They have food. Getting our clay game standard extra bits of loot. They're they exist. So yeah. Okay. Nothing new and special there. I just happened to notice this was open. Might have accidentally hit the red alert button and woken everyone up. Sorry about that. Hopefully I didn't disturb people too much. We'll see. They'll be fine. So if I had any doubt that the Atmos suit dock would be able to be run off this, it's gone now. We have flooded the space with oxygen in a way that makes me very happy. I went ahead and installed them all here. We just need to make another line that is going to plug them all in. Pretty quick and easy. And we cancel that one. So once that's built, any Atmos suits we have will be delivered to these stocks, and we will go ahead and make sure that anybody going into this section gets into a suit first. Let's also mop up all this crud. It's coming from the melting stuff up there, I think. Yeah, we'll get that handled. We've got the ball emptier over here. We probably need to move it here. We can take this out because this water level has dropped too low, unfortunately. Which means it's time to crack this open and let that water flow down into our new storage area. Yeah, things will free all this carbon dioxide out too, so that's good. Always lots of little tasks to keep up and on top of, but we are getting there, and we will get all the water into there soon. Oh yeah, that just all cracked open completely, didn't it? Huh. We'll block it off for now until we're more ready to handle it, but I mean, this is basically the concept of what we were trying to do anyway, so I'm not too stressed by it. You know what? Cancel them off for now. That just needs to all flow out and down into here where it'll go into here. Yeah, that's kind of beautiful in its own way. Watching the water starting to flow down and into here. This is starting to fill up. As a reminder, this pump that feeds our oxygen does go through a water sieve right before the end, so it'll clean up and it'll be okay. But yeah, that was always the intended function of this section. So hey, we're there. We'll get a couple bottle emptier state. I'm just gonna build that right now. Just a little spot to put a bottle emptier to make sure anything else we're dumping also goes in here. We'll do that there. Plumbing, bottle emptier. Stump it right into the same area. Uh, I may have forgotten about one thing. My poor Sweetles. My poor hatches. Oh, that's actually really, really, really bad. Um, well, we'll spin it up again quickly. Let's go ahead and clear this section so that starts falling down there. Oops. We'll grab extra food now, just for reasons. I thought it would have flowed quicker than that, not drowned everything, but nah, here we are. Right, so as we clean everything up, I do hope everyone understands we won't talk about this ever again. Not feeling proud of myself there. Oh well. Are there any more Sweetles like around anywhere that I haven't no, we're just gonna have to go off the one Sweetle Lake. Okay, well we'll recover. That shouldn't be an issue for our food levels or anything like that because, well, all that got turned into food at least. Just we're gonna have a brief period where we're gonna have a few fewer eggs being laid, but we're okay. Actually, this makes a great opportunity to switch this to being for stone hatches. Yeah. And we'll just adjust that and we'll take out sandstone and put in only igneous rock in here. Once I find it. I know I have some. It'll be under stone hatches, of course it will. There we go. And they can eat up on that. Igneous rock we have is something we can get an infinite supply of from our volcanoes. So yeah, is food poisoning? Surprising, but I guess there were some bad things that happened here. Keep mopping up every last little bit of water that got out around here. No research focus selected. That's because we are basically on to our last bit of research that we can do at the moment. Anything else needs material science for the most part. So we're just going to have to catch up on things now, let our construction projects finish, get our exosuits up, get thimble reproduction started, find more water sources, and then I'm going to look into nuclear. There are just a couple things to do. Ooh, one of our dupes has really high stress. Pay here. What's up with you, Pay? You're our cook, right? What's getting you? Bio stress. Stress is going down, but it's soggy feet. Yeah. Okay. Probably just a couple small things that built up over time. Soggy feet should be mostly solved from me mopping all this up. I say mostly, and then I see that. We'll get everything cleaned up, though. All right, I think it's time to get suit suitability training for everyone who can. So I'm just going to start grabbing those. We have pretty high morale for most of our people, so it should be fine. It does. What it does is it keeps their athletics and reduces the penalty for exosuits. Oh, we actually want to go fully onto exosuit training. Wow. Okay. Well, I'll see what we can pull off in a reasonable way. At that, we'll get exosuit training on you. Oh, your pay. How? What? I don't know. But we'll get that out and going and just kind of get everybody ready for that. With barbecue as their main food source, they should be good for a while. They're eating nice, they're sleeping in decent rooms, and all of that. That means that nobody's really going to take big penalties getting into these suits and getting into these areas to do some of the work I want to do out here. Speaking of the work I want to do out here, let's start coring this all out. Realize I did something very silly here. The tiles below the suit stations should not be just regular tiles. They should be mesh tiles. The reason is when they empty the suits, they might have a lot of polluted water that built up within their suit that needs to be released. And so we're going to make sure that all flows down to where it's supposed to. We're also going to kind of adjust some things in here to make sure we don't have more incidents. Just a little bit of a bump should protect these places from the water flowing in this way. Here we can see our dupes with their exosuits are handling everything just fine. The high pressure, the nasty air, the cold water, it'll make them a lot more efficient at going out into these areas and taking care of them. And we've got our mesh setup here and all that done, so that issue should be solved. And now, well, now we just have to start clearing everything. How did you even get in there? How did you get in there without a suit? I don't understand. Dupes. Oh well. It's not like you're already very highly stressed. I'm gonna have to get a massage table for you, aren't I? I'll watch them, and if they get too high up, we'll get that going. I did start assigning the incubators to stone hatch eggs over regular, and that should start filling this out quickly. We've got our first Sweetle back in. That should be recovering soon enough. It'll be okay. A brief blip, but oh well. Pei had a breakdown and is now banshee wailing, which is going to upset everyone else. Hopefully it fixes pretty soon, but I don't know why you went in there, Pei. I'm going to make a massage table at this point. We need something to fix people when they start getting a little too stressed, and clearly Pei is going to get a little too stressed. So where is it? Here we go. We'll just toss that, like, I don't know, right here. We're not going to go for the full. Actually, I guess there's no reason we shouldn't go for the full what's it called? The massage clinic setup. Just needs one decor item, and yeah, okay. We'll just throw that down right here. It's not like it's something that's going to pop up all the time, but we'll get a massage table in, and we'll throw in a little piece of decor. Just something nice. We'll put some ceiling trim along the ceiling here. That's what we'll do. It takes a lot of power is my big concern with it, but so long as, I mean, we're not typically doing too many things that put too much strain on the grid for too long, so it should be okay. And there we go. Pei is getting massage. I realize we still have these oxygen diffusers here, and obviously those are sort of redundant at this point, so off they go, and we'll build a little bit of tile here so that people can hop over to the other side, and yeah, we are getting there. I think I need to deconstruct this and dig out this section right here. Things that have changed now that that water pool is gone. So I'm going to build a very basic thimbleweed farm here. Thimbleweed is not something you need to farm a lot of, especially early game. The suits don't decay anymore. They used to way back in the day, but you want to make enough so that you're starting to really get your suits built up, your number of them. So I'm going to put one here. They need polluted water to grow. So the easiest thing to do is just, you know, as it goes in here, just make sure that some goes down into this first. That's it. That's all that needs to happen. And then we set this up and put thimbleweed in here. Another printable. We'll just take pip egg. Oh, pip eggs. Actually, pips are great. It's a little early for them, for any of the big setups that you can do with them, but just having them's good. And we're starting to see stone hatches showing up in here. That's good. Hopefully, as we get more stone hatch eggs, that'll fill back up and be handled. We definitely need our numbers to go back up on all these, so hopefully it's quick. Might just need to make this incubator back to regular hatchling eggs for a short time, though. I want that going well. So looking at this, the thimbleweed is having some slight irrigation problems. So I think what I'm going to do is instead branch off of this line. So short term, that's like it's not a huge issue. Just have to go like this instead. Then we'll snip that once it's built and kind of clear all that out. Was a good try, but it makes more sense to come as it goes out here instead of the other way around anyway. I just want to show you what difference exosuit trading makes. Look at how Camille's moving, and now look at how Ari here is moving. I want to remind you that this is at triple speed, and that was still happening that way. So, you know, it's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. We're sealing in the natural gas guys are down here for now. Eventually, I might crack that open and do some work there, but we already have a thin layer of natural gas down at the bottom. I don't want it to get any worse. But yeah, we're nearly done coring out the bottom half at least. And then we'll head up and clear out some of the upper stuff. Once we have this open, we'll just sort of try to deal with the polluted oxygen as best we can and get all the rest of this cleared out up top too. Once this is all flowing immediately into this area, polluted oxygen is not really going to be an issue because it's not going to, the polluted water is going to sink below. so it's not going to be able to come up top. We'll just take some oxalite. Screw it. I'm nervous about bringing in more dupes until our hatch farms are back up and running fully. I mean, that seems like a reasonable thing to be nervous about after everything we've been through. We do have a cute little stone hatch in here, though. That's nice. Oh, Pay, how the hell? What in the world? Get out of there. I swear, duplicants will try to kill themselves every single time. Right. I think this is cored out enough that I feel comfortable doing something probably very dumb because it's going to get a lot of polluted oxygen into my base, but we haven't been seeing slime lung as an issue for a while now, and this will help keep more from being added. So we're just gonna go ahead and pop this open actually right here. In the meantime, I'm still trying to push up into the sides and find that last cool sludge geyser and the saltwater geyser I know is around. But those might be a little bit away as we're continuing to push up and finding not quite the space biome yet. I thought this would have been here, but it we're seeing a lot of ice and such, so maybe it's just a lot of ice meteors are hitting this place, which would be pretty cool because that's another source of water. So I don't think I mind that too much. And we can use ice as a temporary emergency measure to like bring down the temperature here by making ice temperature shift plates. That's something I'm probably going to do pretty soon. But yeah, I wanna watch this last bit get drilled out. There we go. And the beautiful water flow has begun. And it should all just kind of be going here and then pouring over into our storage tank and filling this up. So wonderful. That is a lot. That is quite a lot. But you know, every little bit's going to be important to handle. If we get too many trash gases down here, I can set up a gas pump situation to get them out, but everything should be sinking down to this level as this fills up and the carbon dioxide starts to overflow out. And we'll do a carbon skimmer and all that good stuff to take care of that. But I think that's all going to be for next episode. This one's already gone on very long, and we've made some really good progress cracking into and clearing out this new biome. I might set up a farm here now that we're getting quite a few in over here. And it just seems like it would be a good idea to handle our fish population a little better. So I'm going to look into doing that, and I'm going to see about getting our nuclear research set up next time. This one, pretty good. We now have a line of exosuits that'll get us out of the base and keep us working out of the base. So that's been pretty nice to see. We're avoiding these zombie spores for now. I don't have the bionic DLC. I'll get that soon to be able to do something with those. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.